Welcome to a MainelyDIY.com video.
Okay, we're going to change the fire chamber for a Weil McLain Series 88 boiler, 6688. Anyway, what we have to do is take the whole boiler face off, and then we'll see what we're getting into. You notice I did put down a small blue tarp that I'll throw out after because it's going to be very messy when I do this, and I'm wearing gloves and old clothes, and we'll get this done. It's a fairly easy thing to do, and usually when you get your furnace cleaned, they do not replace the fire chamber. Should probably be done once every 10 to 12 years. You don't notice when the fire chamber is bad. I will show you when we open it up how a hole can develop in the back, and the idea of the chamber is to keep the flames off of the metal. If the flame goes right to the metal, it will slowly erode the metal, and you'll end up having to replace the whole furnace. This way it keeps the longevity of the furnace intact. So it is a good idea to change the fire chamber every 10 to 12 years. So we're going to start by... Okay, so what we're going to do is take the chamber face off of the furnace, the burner and all. There are 4 9/16 inch nuts that hold it on to the studs, and they are located right there. There are 4 of those. Move some light over here and see what's going on. Okay, so let's start with this one. It shouldn't be too tight. Loosens up. Let's loosen this one up. Oh, there we go. That one was a little tighter. Okay. Okay, that's loose. I'm going to loosen the other ones. Okay, that's loose, and that's loose. Now this should come off. Yeah, see, it come off pretty easy. I'm going to set all of those aside when I get them off because I don't want to lose them. So, I get the bottom ones first, they're the harder ones. Like that. I'm just going to set these somewhere where I won't lose them. And then what I do is I grab onto this thing and it come off. So we'll take a moment break while I disconnect this thing, haul it out of the way so we can actually get inside of that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we have the chamber cover off, and as you can see, it's really falling apart and being degraded, and lots of places have just totally gone. This whole corner is gone, so the metal is now being damaged, and along here it's really pretty bad. So we're going to take this whole piece right off here and replace it. Actually, I can just pull it off now, I guess. So yeah, this is why I want to have a tarp here to collect all this foul dirt. It just crumbles. And there is the bad one. It just falls apart. As you can see, the metal needs to be brushed up a little, cleaned. It's actually in pretty good shape, believe it or not, but it's time to clean it up. Okay? And if you look in the chamber here, oh yeah, you can see where a hole is starting to form in the back there. This is all getting very brittle, and as soon as that barrier goes, that's just the metal of the boiler behind there, then the fire is shooting right out right against that, and if that is not there, then it will really quickly erode the metal, and then you'd have to replace the entire boiler, which is not a good thing. But you would not realize that this is happening because the boiler's working, you're getting heat, there's no problem, right? Well, internally, it's self-destructing. So like I said, you really need to have this thing replaced every 10 to 12 years, or you'll end up replacing your boiler in 15 years.
So this is high temperature insulation. It's rated for a higher temperature than the metal is, and that's why you need it.
Okay, so we're going to try to clean this up best we can. There's more to this. Ooh, I want to leave that piece in there. Put the new one onto the boiler plate. I'm just going to try it, see how it fits. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I think, let's see if this piece, I'm just going to leave that. But I think we're going to take this off too. All right. I think we have most of it. All right. So, next, what I'm going to do is put my new one, slide it on. Being careful not to break it. going even all the way around. Kind of fine tuning it here. Okay, that looks a lot better. So that should be good for another 10 or 12 years. Wow, maybe I'll be able to retire when I change it next time. Yay! Okay, so we're going to move that out of the way some, and then we're going to clean the actual chamber. And we're looking inside the chamber. We are looking inside the chamber, and as you can see, there's starting to be a weak spot right in there, and this is a hole started to. So if we don't, it just flakes off. It's just going through, and right behind there is the metal. So, it's not much there. If I can do this loosely with a tape measure, it's not going to last very long because that's the metal behind there. So this has to go, has to be replaced, and the bottom is all punky too. It needs to go. So we're going to change that in a moment here. Okay, so we're going to start, I'm going to start by scraping the bottom out a little bit here. Pulling that out. That's pretty well degraded. That is insulation, but it's a good fire barrier, but it's not, it doesn't have a lot of life left to it. Okay. Now it may give me a break here to let the dust settle. You should probably have a mask while you're doing this, but I take my time doing it, so I just kind of let the dust settle and do it in a well ventilated spot. So we'll give that just a moment to dissipate. And now what we're going to do is get that back off and see how the metal looks behind there. Let's see. Yeah. Get it off in chunks. There we go, that was a good chunk. See stuff forming on the metal. Well, good news for me, my chamber wall looks really solid. I like that. So, I just need to clean some of this old scale off of here. That will help heat up the water more, because this actually, the side pieces, there's water right behind this, and that's what actually heats it with the flame in there, and the flame goes up through all the little vents up above, and I keep those clean for the fins, as you can see up in there, kind of. You can see the fins up through there that it goes through. As it goes through, this heat exchange occurs, and that's how you heat your water. You have like a ball of flame in the fire chamber, and it just goes up through the flue. As it goes up through, it exchanges heat with the water. So we will clean this off and put new stuff in. So I don't know how much you want to. Okay, now that some of the mess is cleaned up, I'm going to put the back firewall in. Part of the kit that comes with it. Now here, be real careful you don't break this. As a matter of fact, let me explain. Okay, so when you're cleaning a boiler, what you have to be careful of is you have these wire brushes that you use to clean with from the top. So you push it down, it comes down, okay? And if you go too far, you go into the chamber, but in the back wall, you get this little lip right along here, and it'll come down and break that right off if you're not careful. So when you're cleaning it, just be mindful that as soon as you get below the fins, you need to stop. Because if you don't, you break the back of that. It's kind of dusty in here. Okay, let's slide this in. Just like that. I'm just kind of forming it. It still needs to be cured. It's a little moist or wet. And when you first start up the boiler after changing it, you'll get a little smell of gas, something different for first few times it burns. And that's a natural curing process of this material.
It's the outgassing of the material?
Exactly. So now what we have to do is I get a roll of the flooring and put in here. So that is next.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so we're back. I went up to my wife's craft room and used her best ceramic cutting wheel to cut this with. Worked really nice. Haha. No, I used an old pair of scissors to cut this to fit. I'm going to pour some water glass in the bottom of the floor, and that is to adhere to the blanket that I put on. So I just pour some around here. That should do it. Now I take the piece of batting that I cut to fit and lay that in here. Kind of ooze it around a little bit. And there you have it. I think I'm going to trim just a little bit of that off. I think I have too much on there. Let's see. I'm going to cut some more. I don't want too much of that coming up over the top. There. That looks good. I like that. All right. Okay, now we can put the cover back on, and actually the next step I need to put the gasket on the door, so we'll do that next. Okay, now we have to replace the gasket material that goes around the door. This stuff that you see here, it goes down, around, it goes up. It's very fragile. See? It goes all the way around the top, which is gone. So we're going to take that off and replace it with some new gasket roping. It's like a glass roping. Stuff out of there. Yeah, that's factory original stuff. So now, let's see how we do it. Putting this roping material on, just a second here, I'm going to get it all wound. The kitty cat's been playing with it, you know. You know how cats can be.
So do you have some release tape on that?
Yeah, there's some release tape that I'm working at. So we've got a sticky side. So let's start this. Oh, right. I guess I'm going to start right in here somewhere. And just kind of go up and around. And this helps keep the chamber good and tight with air, so the air is controlled for combustion. It doesn't stick too good to all that soot. Okay, so I'm sure, I guess that's okay. Now, hey, hello, we're back. I found a little bit of rope. You can go to the hardware store and pick this stuff up. I only needed a couple inches, so we'll get the release tape off the back of it.
And it's the special rope for furnace gaskets.
Right, you can buy that at any of the places that sell wood stoves, or the easy place to find it, or look around by the wood stoves. Now, up here, this isn't sticking too well, so I've put a piece of thread around it, and when I get ready to put it on, I'm going to use a thread to hold it up while I push the front cover against it, and once it's in place, I'll just pull that string right out of there, so that will hold it in while I'm actually installing the front. Now, what we've done is we've held up this gasket with the string and on here. Okay, so I've just got the base in there, so I'm going to push the top on like that. Cut this fine thread like that. Pull this out. Okay, now the gasket is where I need it in place, and I'm going to push this back on like so. Get my bolt, my nuts on here.